Emergency. Queen's Quest arrived. Emergency. Queen's Quest arrived. Emergency. Queen's Quest
down to the queens.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, everybody inside and outside of the gender spectrum, and welcome back to Stardom Quest Gold, the best weekly Stardom and Marigold podcast anywhere in the world. I'm Zoe's Alex, and I'm joined by Dylan. Hi, Dylan.
Hi, Alex. Hi, everybody. It's the last passion. This is the last episode that we get to do with Nanae as an active pro wrestler. It's devastating. It's devastating.
Yeah, we've had two of those types of episodes in the past month. It's pretty insane.
Yeah, but this one, like, matters.
Say less.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding, everybody. Yeah, a lot to talk about. Actually, not that much to talk about. Mostly Marigold. Stardom House shows barely happened, and they didn't go up until like this morning. So even if we were going to cover them, we wouldn't really have been able to. And there's a Stardom Corkin that happens tonight, but it will have already happened, so we aren't
We
previewing
previewed it last week.
We previewed it last week, though
Yeah,
they do have names now. The Rooks do have names now.
Yeah, we can mention that.
Yeah.
We'll do some Stardom. Head on over to the 5-star-network.com for all of the latest articles and podcasts from the wonderful world of pro wrestling. Head on over to the 5-Star Network YouTube channel, which is where this, as well as shows like Actor Stage and No Limit Wrestling, go up. You guys will be having No Limit soon for Nanae.
We'll be having both a Mako episode, and we'll probably have a Mako episode after Nanae's retirement, and then a Nanae episode next month, just because we kind of got pushed back in the timeline. But yeah, we have the matches selected for the Mako episode. We realize that she's really just like a really strong singles wrestler.
Yeah.
It was very hard to like find like a tag match. And you're gonna hate this. We chose the DDT one against All Out from back in
That's
the day.
cool. Like
Yeah,
that.
it was. But you're anti-intergender and all that shit.
For good reasons. I feel
Yeah,
need to specify that.
you don't think women could beat men realistically.
No, stop.
That's his take. That's his official take
Stop
on the matter.
No.
But yeah, so that's the only tag we're doing. And
Maybe there
other
was like
than
a
that,
Kana Hamada tag that you guys could have done. I
we're
know for
doing
a fact there's a Kana Hamada tag.
well, yes, but we're doing we're doing her winning the title from Aja in 01. We're doing Akira in 01. Then we are doing I obviously picked the Kagetsu match because I'm always like that's one of my favorite matches ever. And then we are doing All Out, and we are doing the Kana match, the singles.
Nice.
The
Hopefully the one without the drums in the background. The one was odd.
Yeah, I forget which one we are picking. But the one the Kana match, the one everybody talks about.
Yeah. Okay. Sick.
Because last time with Arisa, we picked the Io one over the Kana one, and people were upset. So this time, we are picking the Kana one over the Io
go
one.
with an Arisa Kana match? What is wrong with you?
We ended up watching that like the day after.
That's crazy.
We
The one with
recorded it.
like Headbutt Central.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
I'm still happy we did the Io one because I really liked Io versus Arisa, and I kind of fits
cool.
the timeline better. But yeah, we're doing Kana this time around. We haven't decided on any matches or even the guest. We were going to have widescreen on, but he's been really busy lately, so I'm not sure if that'll work.
In Japan?
Yeah,
he lives in a completely separate time zone.
Yeah, he lives in Japan, so he might not be able to be our guest. We might get Scott, might get I don't know. We're deciding.
That would be so basic. You guys always record with Scott. You gotta get.
It's so easy. It's so easy.
You gotta. It's different. Some flavor.
So easy to record with Scott. That's the thing.
That's true, but I don't know. You guys gotta get some flavor for Nanae. Maybe get Tayo. See what she has to say.
Yes, getting Tayo on the podcast. Let's see.
Very easy.
Someone who strangely has not even mentioned Nanae's name, in her retirement road.
Yeah, gosh, who
We'll s
knows? Maybe,
I
maybe
wonder
if
if
you get her
I
drunk
wonder if
enough,
she'll
she'd
show
say
up.
something. She does have a
I wonder
bar.
if she'll That's
Yeah.
true, she does get drunk and
Buy enough of
start
the bar, she
shooting.
might tell you.
She gets drunk and starts shooting.
It's crazy. All right. Well,
Well,
that should be fun whenever you guys do it. But
mm,
we are going to get onto the show. As if you missed last week, we did announce last week that we're going to change how we cover the two promotions going forward. I think it's already worked well because last week we did a pretty good 90 minutes on Stardom because we knew this week we could focus on Marigold ahead of their big show. So I'm already liking the new format, but just in case,
mhm.
we will not be doing Stardom house shows this week. We did preview the Corkin last week. So Stardom stuff is going to be limited to just this, which is that there was a little bit of news from Stardom. They announced the X's for the match on the Sayori Natsupoi 10th anniversary show. So as expected, it is Kanai with Yumiko Hoda. The interesting one is Kaoru Ito is teaming up with Rian. So this is a student teacher tag, and no, Rian was not secretly trained by Ito. In storyline, she basically approached Natsupoi and Ano backstage during a promo. I was like, hey, I want to get better. I want to, improve my status as a wrestler and stuff like that. And they said, work with Kaoru Ito, man. So
She
here we
should
are.
shoot she should shoot, do some do some training in the Ito dojo if she doesn't already.
Yeah.
She'd probably be great. Honestly, if she became a young Kira Ito stylistically, I think that would probably be her best bet.
Yeah. Kaoru Ito
Like
could
I think
rock.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think like young Ito, like the junior heavyweight Ito,
Yeah.
um, is exactly the sort of wrestler that Rian could kind of mold herself after. It is
Mhm.
very funny because yeah, they we were talking about how this is supposed to be, you know, their two greatest proteges, and we got Rian and Miku Kanai, uh,
Yeah.
instead of Miku Aono and Sari, which obviously would be happening in a different company. And it wouldn't be happening at all because Hoda does not work with Rossi.
No.
But yeah, it's kind of
Although
funny.
she's like lowered those hatches lately, I think. She had a video for Nanae and everything, so maybe they'll bury that hatchet sometime. Um, yeah, that's probably the last match we get for that show. It seems pretty full as of now, but maybe I don't know. Then maybe they'll add more. Um,
It's
also,
looking good so far,
also,
or not
yeah,
so
no, it's
far,
a good
but
show.
it sounds like a fun one.
Also, in the realm of Stardom, they will have wrestlers taking part on the Hana Kimura Memorial Show again this year. Hana's show this year is called Fireworks, and it is, of course, on May 23rd. The big match is that in the main event, Rina is taking on Veni, which is a pretty
Yes.
awesome match. Very excited to see that. Veni is probably going to win because
Oh
does
yeah.
not Veni does not lie down and stare at the lights for just anyone, especially not a teenager. And then also we have probably the match of the night. Miyuki Takase and Miki Iwata take on Sari and Natsupoi and the team of Dash Shizako and Hiroyo Matsumoto.
Mm.
Three absolutely insane tag teams there. Absolutely going to be a heater. Cannot wait for that one as well. And the last Stardom representative is Konami is teaming with Minoru Suzuki to take on Chihiro Hashimoto and Shotaro Ashino. I vaguely remember Ashino. Is he in All Japan?
Wait, Shotaro? Is she
Yeah,
no? Yeah,
Shotaro.
he's in All Japan. He's one of the
He went
better.
from Wrestle 1 to All Japan, didn't he?
Yeah, he was awesome
Yes.
in
Yeah.
Wrestle One. He's still very good in All Japan, but he's one of those wrestlers who, um, I don't know. A lot of wrestlers have Wrestle One stank on them, where like the people like the promotions that pick them up post Wrestle One just hate them. Um, we'll get you out of there, Takanori Ito. Uh, he's dying over in Galate. I don't even
Does
know if he
Glade
still works there.
exist?
Yeah,
Do they
they're
run
running.
shows?
They're running. They are behind a membership now, so nobody watches them because they used to release
Oh, I
shows for
see.
free, and like I would watch like the odd match or here or there because like they have good wrestlers. It's
Mhm.
just not ran well or booked well. Um, but now it's behind a membership, so it's like me and Xavier are like looking. It's like they have a T Hawk versus Michiko match,
Oh,
Michiko Miyagi match.
yeah.
That sounds really good. Like that's very attuned to my taste,
Mhm.
and I want to see it, but I'm
Of
not
course.
paying for Glade. So we're kind of like, what are we gonna do here? But yeah, it still exists technically.
Okay, that's interesting. The rest of that card looks fun. There's an Azure Kong singles with Seigo Tachibana and Yuna from Sendai
Mhm.
Girls as a singles match because she was apparently inspired by Hana. So again,
Yes,
this
definitely.
show is a celebration of Hana, it's a celebration of pro wrestling. If you can support it, check it out. And it is, of course, on May 23rd.
If you
So
want to support it, just buy the show. Don't
by the
do
show,
other things.
don't do other things. That is all I believe is from Stardom. I know they started the Stardom project, the like golden ticket search thing, which
Mhm.
I think could be a big hit for them. But I haven't seen a lot about it. I haven't seen much translated other than I think it confirmed that Siri and Mike are the trainers because they were like the two main judges of being asked what they wanted from new wrestlers. And I was like, okay, yeah, they're the trainers basically, which we had kind of guessed already with how they were being rolled out.
Yeah, 100%.
It's nice to have confirmation. And I would keep eyes on that show. I think it could give Stardom some really big name kind of trainees, given that it's airing on TV Asahi. So I would definitely keep one eye on the results of that show and kind of how that impacts the actual booking going forward. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it for Stardom. The house
It,
shows didn't really air.
they were on Ani Talk, which I watched, and it was interesting.
It was a big like women's wrestling special, wasn't it? It was a big
Yeah,
like women's
yeah,
wrestling is turning around, things are happening.
the matches they covered were Tam versus Julia, hair versus hair.
Oh,
Um
interesting.
Sari versus Naoshikawa for Marigold last year. Uh Tam versus Saya, obviously, and an Unagi match that I skipped. I forget. I think it was
Okay.
her versus Minoru Suzuki. Um
Mhm.
or something like that. Those are the matches they covered, and then they covered a bunch of other stuff. They talked about a bunch of other wrestlers, including like Koki Amare had a
Mhm.
pretty prominent bit in there, um, both in the beginning and at the end. But yeah, it was. I mean, it's on NHK, which is like the national TV. Like it was a pretty big deal. Um, oh, it also had like Utami, like pictures of her from the reality show she was on um,
Oh,
as a
right.
kid. Like it was like
Oh, I
childhood
see.
pictures of her, because yeah, like her dad was a reality star and her whole family was. So uh, they were kind of talking about that and stuff. So it was a really cool watch, even though it wasn't subtitled. Just kind of context clues and the you know small bit of Japanese you can kind of pick up if you've been watching Japanese media for long enough. It was easy enough to follow, and I had a fun time.
Yeah. Another thing just to mention is you did mention Tam Saya. It kind of reminded me that Stardom uploaded Tam versus Saya, the retirement match, to
Yeah, that's
YouTube for
why,
free.
they released it right after the, show aired.
Yeah, that currently has just under 200,000 views. And that is like the most viewed thing in a little while on that channel. So like, that is very much getting eyeballs on the company still. Um, and I think they're gonna ride the wave of that match for a little bit longer. Um, The only other last thing on Stardom is we got the trainee names who are going to debut tomorrow. We have Emma Maishima and Kikyu Furusawa. So if Kikyu does not do kicks, I will be very upset. But we'll obviously get to see how they do tomorrow, and we'll review that next week because we diving into that cork. And that is all for Stardom. Until next week. And it is time to get on to Dream Star Fighting Marigold, who happened to celebrate their first anniversary today. It's been very hard to miss all the posts by the wrestlers. Even like Tachibana and stuff has been like, "Yeah, I wasn't around at the first at the first show, but hey, it's our first anniversary." Um,
Yeah,
so they're all having a good
there's
time.
a there's a real, how did Mayu put it? There's a real family vibe about Marigold. Um, and yeah, obviously there's a lot of celebration. Um, the actress girls who didn't debut before 2022, congratulations on your first anniversary as a pro wrestler. Um, Shout out to all you, Chiaki, Chikagoto, and Koki specifically. The other three debuted beforehand. Um, yeah, no, it's been a year. It's wild to think a year ago I was watching Fields Forever,
Yeah,
and like that was such a monumental show. Uh,
the vibes of that show were
yeah, the
unmatched.
vibes were incredible. I was thinking about making like a music video for it or something today, but then I was like, I might be lazy. I don't know. We'll see. Um, 'Cause I would like to kind of just like go back, not watch it all the way through, but just like re-experience the vibes of it because it's really cool. Um, and looking at the way that like all the wrestlers have grown since then, is also like really wild. Like I think like
Yeah.
Chikugoto obviously will be a big talking point this weekend. This past weekend, she is just like so night and day. She is such a pro wrestler now. Uh, you would never think she was anything different. You know what I mean? I don't know if that
Yeah.
makes sense, but like on that first show, she was kind of like an actress trying to be a pro wrestler, which is what she was hired to do. Um, but now she's just so intrinsically a pro wrestler and so uh, representative of what like pro wrestling is that I think it's such a fascinating way to like look at her then and look at her now and see how she's grown. And that's the case for everybody. Um, so yeah, happy first anniversary to
Um,
Mario.
just to touch on it, on the Marvelous show today, Nanae
Mm.
Takahashi did wrestle. She wrestled Senka and Sora in a tag, if I'm correct.
Yes,
Yes, and
she
she
teamed
beat
with
them.
Ihozan.
I was on. And yeah, she won that match. And on that show, actually, and this is a spoiler for people, Takumi and Sari won the 3AW tag belts. So I am very interested to see if that maybe backdoors Sari back into Marigold as part of a match or
Bro,
two, maybe.
bro, an IWGP GHC standoff
That would
between the
rock.
two champions, like Twin Tower versus Takumi and
Yeah, let's
Saori.
get it.
I don't
Let's
think that
do it.
happens. I have a
Probably
feeling
not.
there is something put in place that's like, Saori, if you are winning this belt, which I'm assuming she is, you are not allowed to do Margo. Um, but
Maybe.
we'll see. Like, I don't know. I think that'd be
Might
fascinating.
wrestle
Maybe.
on a Marigold show or a Marvelous show. You never know. But I
Yeah.
am just, I
Or
just would be
maybe
interested if those belts became like a thing that
I
was
could see
on
her even
Marigold.
defending the 3AWs on a Saorism show against
Yeah, yeah,
like a
probably.
Marigold team because that'd be cool. Like, and I think that would
Yeah,
work. Um,
because I just feel
we'll
like
see.
Marvelous could use her help. Because even Rossi in an interview was like, "Yeah, it's good. Told me to send my best wrestlers, but we just won, so
Yeah, we just
I
yeah.
didn't want to."
He was like, do you want to fight Mirai? Like, do you really want to? Do you want to
Yeah,
fight Utami? Like for real?
so
We have Mayu,
yeah,
man.
against
You ain't out politicking me on Mayu, bro.
yeah. Oh, what a world. Yeah, that was the show today. I hope I will be watching that Nanai match because obviously
Yeah,
Sora and Senka are what kind of must see at this stage. But I also like I think she tries hard, so I'm rooting for her. But it is time to get on to the review section. We have Marigold Rising Spirit Day 11, the afternoon show. That was, yeah, the first one. They had 354 people here in the Gato Kingdom Sapporo, and they opened up with Kazuna Tanaka and Rei Seto beating Hummingbird and Natsumi Shizuki in 9 minutes. This was fine. Solid
yeah.
opener.
That was good. Kazuna has been doing well, especially in these undercard matches where she kind of gets
Mm,
to be the star of the show who kind of kills people. Um, Rhea's good. Like yeah, it was a fun match. I thought it
yeah,
was well worked. I I think openers historically in Marigold have not always been the best, but I think they've definitely improved, and this match was a notable improvement on some others in recent memory.
big time. Shanyota beat Komo Manami and Nagisa Tachibana in 7 minutes. This was a pretty fun match.
Yeah, I would say this
Um,
is pretty actively good actually. Like Chan Yoda, obviously Komo Minami and Nagisa Tachibana are kind of working their asses off right now, especially against each other. They kind of click, but Chan Yoda was able to kind of just like get her shit in and look like um a real wrecking ball. You know, what I mean, like I feel like the thing about Chan Yoda's run post the Mai Sakurai match is she doesn't fade into the background because she's Chan Yoda and she's jacked and look at her, she doesn't really fade easily into the background, but she hasn't been able to like really contribute everything that she
yeah.
probably can. I felt like this match was like kind of a reminder of like, oh yeah, she runs people down and like just demolishes them, and it's
Mhm.
awesome. So I thought this was a good showing for Chan Yoda and for the pairing of Komomo and Tachibana.
Yeah, we'll have a lot more to say about those two. We can
Yes,
get on
yes,
to that. I did skip, admittedly, the next match, which was Misamatsu and Nagisa Nozaki beating Chikikoto and Yuki Minami.
it was
You
good.
can't really sell me on Darkness Revolution tags. I skipped I think one on every show. So
Yeah, but
um,
this is like the
I
best
know.
team.
I can't do it. I'm just,
It's
there's a
Misa
lot
and
of
Nozaki.
wrestling to watch. I need something to skip to save time. But
Like
anyway,
to be
I
fair,
assume
it
you
was
watched
Yuki.
it.
Yeah, it was Yuki Minami, but Yuki
Yeah.
Minami did well here, so that was good enough for me. And yeah, it was fun. The thing is Nozaki has the people she likes to work against, and
Hmm.
for some reason, Yuki Minami is one of them.
I think
Because
she
she
just
was
sells well for all
yeah,
of the main
like
talents.
Nozaki was like, you know what, like I'm picking up a shift, I'm beating the fuck out of her, and she did. It was awesome.
Zaki had a good day, in fairness.
Yeah.
Which I
Yeah,
was
I
going
mean,
to say
she
again
had a
later.
good weekend. Like she had a solid weekend. She
Yeah.
was putting in some work, having a fun time, having a good little Hokkaido vacation. Um, 'Cause yeah, I thought this was another solid match.
All right. My Sakurai and Miku Aono beat Chiaki and Megaton in just under 9 minutes. I mostly watched this to see kind of how Aono was treated in the lead up to the Nanae match. I definitely didn't feel any different, but like it
No.
was good when it got good. But obviously, it was kind of waiting for the pushed wrestlers to win because there was never going to be any
Yeah,
other result.
I think that was the biggest downfall of this match was just that it was kind of like a means to an end.
Yeah,
I never felt like there was much like, fight there, which is
no.
kind of the case when you have to like these are the weakest two in Darkest Revolution. So it just is kind of gonna happen like that.
Nanae Takahashi beat Seri Yamaoka in 17 and a half minutes in our next one.
Okay, I
I
have
think
a
that means
problem with you
why? What?
because this match fucking ruled.
Oh, it
And you
did.
were
Yeah,
like,
I'm not
you were
this.
like, yeah, it was Hokkaido, and I was like I watched it, I was like,
No,
how
but
could
I
you
think
tell?
Nanai wanted to have a like full big Tokyo match here, but she just couldn't.
I thought she
So it
could.
didn't hit.
I thought this was just as good as like the Yuzuki match, which I also loved.
Mm, I don't know. I would say it's underneath that. I would say Seri got less time than Yuzuki. I think Yuzuki lasted 19 before she lost. So
It's the
currently,
same. 18, 19.
currently,
It's the same,
I think
man.
the totem pole is Mirai is the only one to get a draw.
Mm,
Yuzuki got just less than that, and Seri is
mm,
just below that. So
mm.
she didn't rarefied air there. But yeah, I mean, this was the kind of Nanai match you'd expect. Like she's trying to make Seri by putting her on the back foot, which is something we don't see a lot with Seri. But she did well as she always does at selling. I think she's surprisingly good as a seller when you consider what
She's
her background is.
she's pretty great at like she's
Yeah,
like a really good at selling. It's
she
like
is.
during this match, you kind of notice, especially early on, with the selling. Obviously, every wrestler as time goes on, like, and it's the kayfabe explanation is just like adrenaline. That's why wrestlers stop selling as the match goes on. If the targeted area isn't as strongly attacked. Um, with Saria, especially early on, she was getting her leg worked over, and the way she would like fire into her forearms and like kind of like spring off of her healthy foot and like spring into it, like that is just like really like wise beyond your years type of shit. Like it's just a very small detail of the way she would push herself into Nanai, uh, not using her leg, and it's like just small shit like that just really sells me on Sari. Like I don't know, it's been 5 months and she is selling better than a lot of people. I'm watching Best of Super Juniors and man, some of these motherfuckers do not know how to sell. Um, it's tough, especially when they're going against Uncle Nobu, who's you know, a master of limb work, and they just don't know how to do it. Uh, Cesare is really impressing me with her selling, and also, she sells, but she also just gets her kind of her ass kicked, and I respect her for that. That she's willing to really go out there and get killed, um, especially against someone like Nanai, who obviously is a trial by fire type of wrestler, and she was really
Yeah.
down to beat the fuck out of her.
I kind of like how Seri will work her selling into her offense too. There was one part where she went for the gut wrench, and she
Mm,
had to like try 3 times to get an eye up because she'd been getting her ass beat up until then.
yeah,
I thought that was a nice little touch that a lot of wrestlers kind of would gloss over. But
no, I
obviously, I
agree,
think
I agree.
Sherry's just such a natural that she gets it. So I thought this was a pretty good performance from both. I do think if they had a hot Tokyo crowd, it would have taken it to greatness. But as it was, It
I
was a
thought it
very,
was
very
great.
good match, and I think Nanae clearly was trying to make Seri on her way out.
Sari also got to hit the freezer bomb, refrigerator bomb, if you will.
Hmm.
Which
Was
hers is
this
like
where she had the
fascinating.
cowboy hat?
Yes. Well, she had the
It's,
cowboy hat first in the tag match, but now she
oh,
wears the cowboy hat like
it's great.
every show.
I really
I
like
love
it.
it. I think Sari, brown hair, hair down with the cowboy hat, crazy look. I think it works.
Still don't like the hair down when she wrestles, but I will make an allowance for the
I
cowboy.
I would take it over the dreads.
Well,
Yeah,
you know,
I'd take it over that.
we don't want to start this course. Julia does that enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that was a fun time. Um, you know, Nanai didn't lose, but she did what she does and make somebody kind of prove themselves. So yeah, pretty great on that one. And then we got to the match everybody was here to see. Mayu Iwatani and Mirai beating Utami Hayashishita and Victoria Yuzuki in 17 minutes. This was great. Kind of unsurprising when you look at who's involved. I thought the way it flowed was kind of interesting because it was Mirai and
Mm,
Utami tasked with like the slow build up part, and then Yuzuki and Mayu just kind of went at it. They were ready to scrap.
yeah.
Um, and by the time Utami and Mirai got back in, I think we saw more along the lines of what we want from the title match. They kind of were properly going into the big stuff at that point, but I did think they specifically gave Mayu and Yuzuki the middle of the match to just be like, go ahead, Yuzuki, do not take her shit, go on. And it was really fun.
Oh man, this was just a really ram spot because obviously it was very good. Utami and Mariah building up, heating up a storm, leading into the match, obviously, and Mayu and Yuzuki are naturals together because Mayu trained Yuzuki. Who would have thought? Um, but one little spot that I loved about this match that really just like kind of was really emblematic of just the story was Mayu and Yuzuki. Yuzuki Mayu went for a super kick and Yuzuki ducked. Yuzuki went for a super kick and Mayu ducked. And then Mayu did a roundhouse kick and Yuzuki just got fucking killed. And
Mhm.
like I love the idea of like they're similar, but Mayu's pocket is like she has such a deep, like her game is just a different
Yeah.
level. She just has it's like that ain't the only kick I got. I taught you that kick. I have more. Like, I think that, like, that just in that small instance, I'm just like, that's, like, what the story is here, and I really like it. But yeah, the match in general was a lot of fun. Uh, More so in the match later in the day, but I love Mayu just, like, mixing up as a team, with, like, Mirai and Utami.
Yeah.
Uh, I think that's really cool to see. Um, them dapping each other up after the match, that got me hyped, bro. Um those are the legends. But yeah, I thought this was a really fun match.
Mirai won the match for her team by pinning Utami, if I
Yes.
remember correctly.
Yeah, it's getting a
And
bit
she actually
50-50. I don't love it, but you
she
know.
could a promo after that's actually said, "I've won 4 and you've won 4. We're even Stevens," which is so interesting because that was at no point the story that they were going for until they kind of
No.
fell into it. And I really am disappointed they didn't play up the GP match last year as much because when Mirai beat
Yeah.
Utami, I went, "Who the hell are you? You are Utami." I feel like Utami should have spent this entire build going, "Well, I'm world champion, so who
Yeah,
am I?" You know?
I feel like the build hasn't been great. The
Yeah.
matches have all been great, but I feel like the actual like through line has been pretty mediocre. I
Story
mean,
of
even at
Utami's
the
life. How
yeah,
did
I mean
Utami? Sadly,
I think I talked about it on here. I might have talked about it elsewhere. That's like even at the presser, Utami, like her build to the match was just that it's like Mirai really like says it how she means it, and I don't. Like that was
sure.
it. Like she's just like I'm kind of jealous of Mirai because she really like can like say things straight up and be very straightforward with what she says, and it's very captivating. Um, but I'm better. And I'm just like, what are you like? There's so much in this rivalry you can pull from. Like, I feel like this could be so great from a narrative point of view.
Mhm.
Uh, and they just haven't really done any of that. Uh, but the match itself, I expect to be great. You know,
Oh yeah, for
so it's
sure.
like. And
I mean, Mirai
again,
could not have a bad match. I think she's just out of
knock
this
on wood.
world.
I'm worried that I'm putting way too much what's the word?
Expectations?
Unconditional. Yeah, expectations was also like unconditional faith into
Right.
Mirai, which I do have. I have faith in Mirai because she has been a killer since the Marigold started. Um, but I feel like I might be putting too much of a like. Well, she's the best in the world. Obviously, she's gonna have a great match. It's like, well, let's 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 hope she has a great match of the night contender up against two equally incredible matches that is before and after it.
That's
We'll
fair.
talk about that later though, obviously.
Yes, and that was that first show. The second show that day was also in the Chateau Kingdom in Sapporo. They had 385 fans at this one. We opened with Komomo Minami, Kazuna Tanaka, and Victoria Yuzuki beating Hummingbird, Yuki Minami, and Nagisa Tachibana. This was a very nice little match containing like the future of Marigold, minus Naho Yamada and kind of two others. But I thought it was just really nice to see how everybody is going along at the moment. Komomo and Nagisa here showed the glimpses of chemistry that made me go, okay, I can see why their match on the 18th got so much hype.
Mm.
Because there was like some stuff they did that was just so clean and so out of character for both of them that I was like, hell yeah, this is kind of cool. But also, you could see that Yuzuki is just such a step above everybody. Like the way she just killed Hummingbird on the finish was
Yeah,
nuts. Like she is operating at such a different level than all of her peers except Seri. It's almost not fair.
she's pretty insane. Yeah, I thought this was a lot of fun. Love watching Hummingbird get beat up. It's one of my favorite things. One
Yeah.
of my favorite pastimes. Um, and Yuzuki did a great job of beating her up. So did Kazuna. Kazuna's been really nailing those kicks lately.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's making a world of difference because she's killing some motherfuckers. Um, yeah, that's a really great team, frankly. Kazuna Tanaka, Victoria Yuzuki, and Komomo Minami. Really like
Mhm.
them together. I think they really click.
We're gonna
Obviously,
need
because they.
Marigold to add trios belts and a future belt
Yeah,
just for the matches we would get.
I was watching this. I was watching this with Scott and Xavier last night, and we all agreed that like we saw these three come out, and we were like, yeah, they need trios belts, just because of these three. Like this is the team. Obviously, Yuzuki and Minami are like really close friends. I've heard, um, and Kazuna also very close friends with Yuzuki. So it all makes sense. Like they are quite close. They're all similar ages. I think they might be the same. I think either the same age or
No
Komomo's like a
idea.
tad bit older. But yeah, like so it all makes sense why they click so well, and they clicked super well here. Um, but yeah, Izuki was killing motherfuckers, man.
Indeed. I did again skip Darkness Revolution. Rei Seto and Seri Yamaoka beat Megaton and Misa
Yeah, that's
Matsui
fine.
in 11 minutes.
That
I
that that
skipped.
was fine.
I'm pretty sure I skipped every Matsui match this week just accidentally. I
Which
didn't
is
mean
fucked
to.
up. It's her birthday. You skipped her
Well, listen,
birthday.
they
That's
put her in
crazy.
limbo.
What
She
a
did
piece of
nothing.
shit, man. What a piece of shit.
That's crazy. Did you watch it? It was good.
I did. It
It's
was
fine.
whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
entrance where Sari like slowly took, not really slowly, but took off her hat, it, like imposed real briefly, badass.
Yeah.
And then she put the hat on Riasetto, and Rhea was like, "Why did you put that on me?" She looked very startled. It was fun.
Gas.
But yeah, the match itself was nothing to write home about, frankly.
That's all right. Chanyota and Miku Aono beat Mirai and Natsumi Suzuki in 12 minutes. Chanyota finally got away from the tons and she was loving life. Her and Mirai were going at
Dude,
it.
this was awesome.
And
I
even
loved
after the match, she was still like wanting to smoke with Mirai. She was like, "Hey, we won. Get off the apron. We won. I will hit you
Oh
again."
yeah, because they started the match with like fucking you know pop eyeing each other.
Yeah.
Like I'm bigger than you, motherfucker. Look at me. I'm bigger.
I
I'm big. Like they're the fuck was that?
have
That
no
was
idea.
crazy. Oh, it's the garbage truck. Okay,
Oh.
I was like, what the fuck is happening outside? Um, sorry, I was startled. Um, but yeah, I mean, again, Chan Yoda really had a good weekend here.
Yeah.
I loved her work here. I had heard this match was like like solid, but then I watched it. I was like, this was like a step above solid. I really like this because
Mhm.
even then Miku and Shizuki got to do some of their
They were
you
kicking
know
the shit out of each other.
yeah
It
the
was good.
their kickboxing stuff, and I thought that mixing those together, and then you get Mirai and Aono in
Hmm.
the through line. and they're great together. One of the best pairings in Marigold history at this point, up to this point. So yeah, I just thought this match was a ton of fun. Chan Yoda did post a picture of her and Miku and title and captioned it two incredibly photogenic women. Um, so shouts out.
Hell yeah. All right, I
Good
agree
match.
on everything you said.
Mhm.
We then had Mayu Iwatani and Utami Hayashishita beating Chiaki and Nagisa Nozaki in 12 minutes. This was harmless fun. I mean, Chiaki
Yeah.
was just there to get beaten. Nagisa clearly is very into a Mayu match. This was like the most into it I've seen Nagisa for a non-title match, maybe ever. And even afterwards, she was doing lots of posing. So I think she really wants a
Oh yeah,
Mayu
like
match.
well, Nozaki and Chiaki specifically were like, this Mayu chick's pretty cool. We should get her in Darkness Revolution. They're like, you think she'll go for that? We could try. We could try.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great bit of like them being like, oh, so like the best wrestler of a generation is here now. We should probably try to be her friend, right? Like
Yeah,
that
it
seems like
works.
that would be the best idea. Um,
Crowd
but
brawling
yeah,
will not help.
no, and dude, because Mayu after this match had like a big like just like redness all over her face. Like her
Oh
face was
no.
fucked up in the meet and greet section, and like she took a picture. And so I was watching this trying to figure out when it happened, and unfortunately there was like four times it could have happened. Uh, because Nozaki kicked her in the face real hard twice.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then Mayu also hit a frog splash where she just landed on her face so hard. Um, and then she also hit a German on Chiaki where Chiaki landed on her face super hard. So Mayu's just been getting fucked up, bro. Like Marigold has been beating her
She didn't
ass.
wrestle for 2 weeks and she just went crazy.
Yeah, like she's been getting her shit cooked. But yeah, I mean, I really like the match. One thing, and I kind of alluded to it earlier. Utami, and I've had this theory for a minute, but I it's becoming more notable now that like she isn't in a faction. Utami definitely like before any match she has tries to figure out one tag move with anybody she's tagging with.
Yeah.
Because tell me why they did like a bulldog version of the 3D, like her and Mayu. I was like, when did y'all work on this? Y'all have tag moves? And it was just one, but I was just like, that's awesome. Like that, that at some point they were like, hey yo, we should workshop some stuff. And that's very Utami, best tag wrestler in the world isn't a tag wrestler. She's a main eventer for some reason. Um, but
For
yeah,
now.
I like that little portion of it too. But yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah. Um, and our main event was for the United National Championship. Mai Sakurai defended against Chika Goto in 16 minutes, which is that sweet spot for Mirai or Mai Sakurai.
Yeah,
I like that Chica has the flip to switch. She doesn't do the taunt and just looks angry, and it is absolute peak. It is very cunt. She is slaying and serving. And then her and Mai, I thought had a very good match. Kind of not the match that I thought Chica would be ready for.
mhm.
But Mai Sakurai's style is just so easy to plug yourself into. I feel like everybody can get over even in defeat. And I think it's just because when she ramps up, she has that kind of intensity that's like, oh, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Try your best, homie. So when Chikagawa's like bleeding and taking shots and like in submissions, it just looks cool visually.
You
And so
you
I
know
think
how
all that just
much
got her over.
you know how much I love an apathetic, like cold face
Yeah,
in key moments of wrestling matches. My Sakurai got Chan Yoda, Chika Goto in like her arm trapped STO thing, and she was just looking so just like fucking cold faced at like straight at the camera as she like was, and I was like, oh my god, she's gonna kill her. Like it like my Sakurai was serving, as they say. She was
yes.
really she had that vibe to her, and so she could go to. Don't get me wrong. Um, I think maybe it was because this was the last match I watched. It was late. Obviously I'd watched the entire two shows back to back. Um, but I think this was the only match on either of the any of the three cards that I was like, yeah, this should have been in Tokyo. Like disagree with your assessment that the Seri Nanae match need to be in Tokyo to be great. I thought it was great, but it's like I didn't think it was. I didn't think the atmosphere had any negative impact on it. I thought the atmosphere was actually pretty good for a Hokkaido show. For that match, I felt like this was the match where I was like, oh, I wish this was in Shinjuku face, because that would,
Yeah.
then it would really get to that level. Um, Even so, I still thought it was one of my Sakurai's better defenses. She's had a very consistent run, so it's hard to
Yeah.
even say that because all of her defenses have been good, frankly. Um, but I would say this was probably the second best behind the Misa match for me. Because I really loved it. I loved what Gochika can do. Like I said at the jump. Um, she's really just grown into her her own body as a pro wrestler, and
Hmm.
it's really like a sight to see. It's really like energizing to see someone just really like by real like brute force getting it, really like
Yeah.
acclimating to wrestling, and she's continuing to get better. I expect her to be even better next time she challenges for a singles belt. Well, maybe not next time because the GHC might be coming in 2 weeks, so that might be a bit high expectations for her to be, a bunch, way better in uh by Monday Magic time. But yeah, I expect her to just keep improving because she's really on an upward trajectory, and I'm very proud of her. Very happy for her.
Yeah. No, I mean, she definitely is one of those who gets it. I think even just the mean mugging is
Hmm.
one thing, but I do think just foregoing the taunt to be like, this is serious. This is serious shit, guys. That is a big thing that you kind of go, okay, she knows what she's doing.
She's a nice favorite
Um,
for a reason.
yes, that's true. She definitely has all the passion and all of the fire and kind of necessary good stuff to become a really good wrestler. So,
I think I think, and this is the case with a lot of Joshi this day, in this day and age. Um, Her problem, I wouldn't even call it a problem, but like the one area that she could like use improvement in is just like her moves. She's
yeah,
got the like intangibles, as you say, down, like pretty severe. Like she's got it pretty much on lock. But there are, there are moments where I'm just like, I wish she would kill her more.
yeah,
I wish she would get a bit more like, like just not like her forearms are great. Don't get me wrong there, but like they did a swing spot on the outside, and I
hmm,
was like, she should have swung her into the chairs because that is like fucking badass. And I feel like sometimes with moves, Chikugoto kind of like stops halfway or is a bit too safe with some of them. Um, So yeah, I think she should be a little bit more reckless.
okay,
Is hilariously my point. I think she should. I think her moveset should be a bit more reckless. She should get a bit more of a sheer drop on her Emerald Flosion type of thing. Like just like the small things where it's like a little bit more impact on those things because she has so much fire in the smaller stuff, but her bigger stuff I feel like can be better. Except for a choke slam. Choke slam, incredible, great
oh,
choke
well,
slam.
yeah,
But otherwise, I think that just a bit more impact. Same thing with Chiaki. She has good stuff, um, but I could just use a bit more of an impact from her. Chiaki a bit more so because she doesn't even have the like the
yeah.
she. It's
Chuck is a bit of a geek in some
don't
terms.
don't call her a geek, but yes, uh,
Mayu basically
it's
was like toying with her for half
yeah,
that
it's
tag. Like,
Chiaki's
not
a
even
different
the
issue, but
yeah,
similar in that it's like just I need a bit more impact
yeah.
from the impact moves that they do.
All right, and that was that show. Peaked pretty well, and we went on to May
Did you have
18th.
the Mai Sakurai versus Goto match over the Seri in a match?
I haven't really thought about it, to be honest.
Oh yeah, I forgot you don't rate shit unless you're reviewing it.
Mhm.
Damn.
Not really my thing. So on the 18th, we were in Hakodate, and we opened with Komo Manami beating Nagisa Tachibana. I think everybody was surprised when Rossi and Sunny both coming out of this show were like, "Dude, that opener, that opener was crazy, man." And then I watched it, and I was kind of like, "Okay, I guess," because like it was a good match, and it was like really clean. the flow was really well. You could tell they had chemistry. I think the finishing stretch was probably what won them both over, because the finishing
Mm.
stretch was really, really good, really, really well paced, really well done. So yeah, I would say definitely go out of your way to see this, just to see what they're both capable of. And I didn't say this in the three-way, but I will say it now. It is insane that Tachibana is like 3 months into her career. When you consider the
Yeah,
injury, she is
she's
such a
really
natural.
good.
It is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
I find it fascinating that she's one of the better like younger wrestlers,
Yeah.
despite having the least experience of anybody currently wrestling in the company,
Hmm.
um, just by like month wise. Yeah, she's been killing it, and I said it from the jump, when she had her debut match, her and Ryoko, is that it's like Tachibana is clearly very athletic, and it's just a matter of like picking up the wrestling parts of it. Whereas Ryoko is super not athletic, but she has some of the more like you know, some of her stuff looked better. She had a bit more impact in certain things. Now it's like uh and I hate to just kind of shit on Ryoko, but now Tachibana has what Ryoko has too, but she's
Yeah.
also athletic.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's like it's just really hard because she's just really good. And I've been singing Kamomo's praises uh for a long time now. I have always kind of seen something in her past, a month or two in, I think.
Hmm.
And she's really just kept improving. So I was really happy with this match. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. They just really were natural and had like a pretty natural like undercard, high speed superfly type match. Um, that ended in a roll up
Yeah.
as they do. And yeah, I really liked it. I didn't think it was
Mhm.
like anything insane, but it was a really good match between two wrestlers who most people would not expect to have a really, really good match. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean, as far as openers go, it's hard to get better for Marigold. Um,
Mm.
yeah, definitely watch it. Watch it if you can, because yeah, even the finishing stretch I thought was just pretty well done. Like very exciting stuff. Um, we then got on to Seri Yamaoka and Yuki Minami beating Hummingbird and Rhea Seto. Hummingbird took a lot of pinfalls this weekend. I wonder
Yeah.
if they've finally just kind of lost faith in her, because for a while she was protected and winning a lot of matches, but ever since the Marvelous tag, she's kind of just been getting pinned a lot. So I'm interested
Yeah,
in
I
how
don't
that's going
know.
to
I
go.
mean, she's just really good at getting pinned. That's the thing.
She
She's
is.
really good at getting beat
Um,
up.
Yeah, this match was okay. I thought the Seri and Rhea can just do their grapples at the start of every tag for the rest of the
And it works.
time. Like
Yeah.
they'll be fine. Hummingbird did show a little something. I remember one of her pin attempts got broken up, and she just kicked Yuki Minami in the face. And I was like, "Where's this? Where is this Hummingbird? Like, why don't you do this more?"
See, the problem is that it's become a meme that I really like Hummingbird, but like she is actually improving compared to where she was when
Yeah, I
she
mean
came back
her
and
weird
and
like
last year.
pinfall thing on Seri was awesome. The
Like
Yave into the
yeah,
clutch.
like she has good submissions. She's thrown
Mhm.
really good drop kicks. She's still very athletic, very agile. Um like there is like things to like about Hummingbird. It's not just a bit. Unfortunately, she's just so much better at getting beat up than any of those things I just mentioned. So
Yes.
like it
Do
just kind of
they
translates to her not doing much.
Yuki Minami didn't lose. Do they like Minami more than Hummingbird, or do they just like Seri that much that they didn't even want her on the losing end of a tag?
Um, I think a bit of both. Like I think Hummingbird has. I think if you ran Hummingbird versus Yuki Minami in a singles match, win. But generally, I think that they are perfectly willing to have Yuki over Hummingbird. Like they don't see
Hmm.
it as like this. Like it's probably more even than you would think.
Yeah. Okay. Our next match was Chanyota beating Megaton. This I
With
loved this. It was so
yeah,
funny.
with the crippler crossface,
Yes. Yeah. And I
still
like
holding her back.
I, I liked so much about this. Megaton bringing Chanyota's exercise book to the ring.
Mm. That she got
Them
signed
having
the day
a
before. She got that shit signed the day before, and fucking Chanyota in the picture was aura farming, bro. Like she had the
crazy.
pose. She was posing as she was signing the book, as Megaton was like. I was like, bro, she different. She has too much sauce, man.
She
Somebody needs
him.
to stop
He's
her.
him.
She is
Yep.
so him.
Yeah. Yeah, it was so funny. The Gao
It was really
off
funny.
with the Gao into China hitting her muscle pose, and they were just
Yeah,
doing that for ages, and then
bro.
Megaton
Chanyo,
making her
the
do
match
an
started.
exercise from her
The
book.
match started with Chanyoda being like, "Wait a minute, you have my book. You bought my book," and Megaton goes, "Gal," and Chanyo's like, "Wait, but if you bought my book, why are you still fat?" She starts grabbing her fucking stomach. I was like, "What the fuck?" She's like, you ain't reading my goddamn book. You ain't listening to my book. You're fat." And I was like, "This is insane. Sounds like Rossi." Oh. But yeah, I thought it was a really funny. Just it was just a really funny match, frankly.
Yeah, good. Megaton is so. I'm so glad this was changed from Gigaton to Megaton because Gigaton is not
The
nearly as
Gigaton
funny.
match would
I
have been
really do not
a
find Gigaton funny at all, but Megaton just gets it.
yeah. Well, but
Uh,
Gigaton would have had half funny and then have a good match.
I don't even care.
This was just
I
funny.
don't. I don't need it. I don't want a semi good match. I just give me funny. Give me comedy. Um, I find the way Megaton just owns who she is and what she
Mm.
is to be so engaging, and like the way other wrestlers play off it is half the fun. But even her getting creative and like making Tanyota do an exercise from her book
Dude,
to
those
get
were
out of a
my
submission,
my mom was
crazy.
laughing at that.
Yeah,
Because
like it's
she
so
was I was
naturally
watching in
funny.
the living room and she was just like she just like started giggling. She's like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Yeah, I also
And
like her tapping
I
out
explained the lore.
immediately.
She like,
She
"Oh, that
Tanyota
was
gets
also
the
great."
crossface in, and she's just like, "Nope, let me go. I'm
No, because
done."
I was thinking about it. I was like, is Janelle gonna get her up for the jackhammer? And then I was like, oh, I forgot. They love making Megaton tap out. Even if
Yeah.
you don't have a submission, Megaton is tapping out because
Yes.
she is a pussy and she does not want to. She does
You
not want to
know,
try to get out of the submission hold. She will tap out.
I compared Megaton in Discord to Hirota, but she's actually a lot more Lulu Pencil coded because Lulu Pencil would
Yeah,
also tap out the second you put her in submissions. You would sit
in
in
a
the
way that
Boston Crab and she'd give up.
yeah,
It was so funny.
literally you would start turning her over and she's already out. Yeah, man, don't even bring up Lulu
Didn't
Pencil.
she
I
give up
fucking miss
once
Lulu
trying to
Pencil.
trying to pin somebody? Or no, yeah, Lulu Pencil was doing the submission, but bridging hurt so much
Yeah.
she tapped out.
Oh my god, it's so
Oh, yeah.
if
I need Gigaton or whichever of them. I need Megaton to fucking watch Lulu
just
Pencil fight.
try to bridge and just be like, ah, that hurts. I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lulu Pencil. You'll say stories like that, and people who never saw Lulu Pencil will think that she was like a geek, comedy
Yeah,
wrestler who
greatest of all
didn't get
time.
it. She literally was like she understood wrestling more than most people. Like
Yeah. She
she
got
just
to
had it.
America off of like
She,
just losing.
she just got it. She
And
completely like
Eve? I think she got to
she
Eve. Like she wrestled
she
around
gave
the globe with that gimmick.
she gave Chris Brooks unironically his best matches. I am
Yeah.
not like it's Lulu Pencil, Higuchi. Those are the people who give Chris Brooks good matches. That's it. Incredible. But yeah, no, I 100% show Megaton the Lulu Pencil tapes. I'm begging. It's on
Oh yeah.
YouTube. You could probably send it to
Yeah,
her.
that's true. It's pretty easy.
Like it's
Um,
really easy to find.
somebody show Sonny. Sonny would definitely be into it. He'd probably sing
Yeah.
them along. Our next match anyway was
Imagine Sonny showing everybody Bret Hart tapes, like like UWFI tapes, and then Megaton Choco Pro, Lulu Pencil.
yeah, it fits. It fits her vibe. Um, yeah. Um, Utami Hayashishita, Kazuna Tanaka, and Victoria Yuzuki beat Chiaki, Nagisa Nozaki, and Misa Matsui in 16 minutes. As I said, I accidentally skipped all of the Matsui matches, but Matsui lost this one. She got a pin. She took the
Yeah.
fall for Utami, so not looking good for Misa Matsui and her upward
Matsui
trajectory.
well, Matsui's losing to the top stars at least. Like she lost to
Yeah.
Miku last week and she lost to Tommy here. So I'm not too concerned yet, but once she starts taking the fall in matches against Chikugoto, or just like Chikugoto is a bit of a mean one, but like just here and
Koki,
there,
maybe?
like yeah, like against Koki, against Victoria Yuzuki, like she just starts taking
Mhm.
falls there, that'll be a problem. But her getting pinned by Utami is more Utami's the champion, unless Matsui isn't. You know what I mean? If that makes
That's
sense.
fair.
Um, I thought this was this fine match. It was a good match. Don't get me wrong. Um, I like both trios. I thought they both did well. It was really interesting because the way the venue was kind of set up, the crowd brawling made like all of the people, all of the crowd just like disperse into like it was just like chaos. Like legitimately, it was just all over the place. Usually it's like pretty uniformed. Oh, they go to one. No, like Nozaki was clearing the place out. Like it was just complete all over the place. Um, and Nozaki got to beat the fuck out of Kazuna and go 50-50 with Utami, which is her favorite thing outside of beating up
Yes.
Yuki. So again, Nozaki had a good weekend.
All right. Our main event then was, if it will load, this isn't on Cage Match. I'm having to go through the Twitter.
Mhm.
Um, Nanae Takahashi, Chikagoro, and Mirai beat Mai Sakurai, Natsumi Suzuki, and Miku Aono. Nanae got the win over Shozuki in just under 20 minutes. This is a great match. I didn't expect this to be match of the weekend, but it ended up being the match of the weekend. I think this was even better than the Mayu preview tag. This was just awesome. I haven't seen Shozuki this lively in forever. Like
Yeah.
Shozuki in Marigold is sometimes kind of very passive, very sloppy, not very interesting. And then you get a match like this where she's across from Nanae and they're going head to head, and you're like, holy shit, where is this woman all the time? And then they went into Iono and Nanae, and I was like, you know what? Just give it to me. They were lariating the shit out of each other. I was like, hell yeah, this is the real shit. Beyond all that, though, Mirai coming out of the passion dance and doing funny stuff with the light sticks, iconic. This is what wrestling is about.
Yeah, I loved the roster rush. That was a nice touch. I'm so bummed we're not gonna get a gauntlet, honestly.
Yeah.
Like I think that's probably the one thing about this retirement most down about is that we aren't gonna get the big gauntlet of people getting to come out and beat the fuck out of or try to beat the fuck out of Nai. But we got the rush here, so that was, uh, good enough. Not really, but good enough. Um, Yeah, I thought the match was really, really good. I wouldn't say it was match of the week. Still have the Seri match over it. I
Wow.
love that match. I don't think you understand. It was so good. But I did
Taste
really
in
like this
wrestling
one.
is so much different than mine. It's so
Yes.
fun.
Um, but I did think this one was great because I mean, like, look at it, man. Like even my Sakura and Mirai were cooking against each other,
Mhm.
which they kind of have, uh, you know, shady chemistry, I guess you could say. Great
Yeah.
tag wrestlers against each other, or great tag wrestlers with each other. Sometimes really good against each other, but also sometimes it just falls apart. This is one of the times where they were really good together. And yeah, Shizuki was kind of not the star of the show because I was there, but Shizuki was really a treat in this match. Because yeah, you don't Shizuki when she's off is very forgettable, but when she's on, it's very hard to not notice how great she is. And this is one of those instances of her being on because she was against Nai, and she loves Nai. They have a really close relationship and close bond. So I really like this match. Also great to see Nanai get to tag with, her co-trainer and her favorite student
Yeah.
in
For sure.
her last Marigold tag match.
That is crazy. Um,
Mm.
well, that was that show. That was a fun weekend.
Yeah.
Probably overhyped in my mind because I forgot they were in Hokkaido. So nothing was quite like 9 out of 10 range, but there was some stuff that was like very
Oh
near
no,
it.
yeah.
So it
It,
was a good weekend.
I felt like there was enough care put into the cards and enough
Yeah.
effort that it was
Hmm.
still like the shows were on par with a good Tokyo show. Not a great
Yeah.
Tokyo show, but a pretty good Tokyo show.
All right, and we have just the one show to preview. It is on the 24th of May. Muscle Bar Japan presents Marigold First Anniversary Tournament Shine Forever 2025, a glorious celebration. This is in the Yoyogi National Stadium second gymnasium, which is where Stardom is running the conversion in July, I want to say. So a very busy venue. Interesting enough, I hadn't really looked at this. There are one, two, three, four,
Nine.
five sections sold
Oh,
out, one almost sold out, and just two that are fully available. So this is selling fairly well. Now obviously this is a weird venue because it goes up and around, so the scale of
yes.
what they've sold out is probably a lot less than it looks. But you probably are looking at a solid house there just based on that. So It'll be interesting to see what the attendance is for this one. Now, currently scheduled as the opener is the debut of Shinno. She
Oh no,
is.
this is set in stone. The match order is set in stone.
Is it okay? Cool.
Yep.
So
Wrestling
Shino is
Universe is
debuting. She's got the number 55 by the looks of things, which her mom
It's
also
5.
had.
I think it is. I think it's just 5.
Oh really? Okay. I thought they already had 5, but maybe not. And her gear was kind of teased because they released a set of keychains and spoiled some stuff. And Shino has, I think it looks like the kind of white gear that Ohmukai wore in Argion. So the
It's definitely like a tribute gear to Omakai. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So she is just Shino. She is not Shino Ohmukai as of yet, but most people are pretty obviously aware of who her mom is. And she's against Mai Sakurai, and obviously Mai is going to win. As I kind of said earlier, though, I think Mai's style might be the easiest to just plug in if you're Shino, especially if she does kicks like Ohmukai did. Like if you just respond to a slap by kicking her in the face, I think you'll be fine. But I am very interested to see this one because I know Shino is kind of a double trainee. I know her mom is training her, and Marigold is training her, so she's going to be a weird mix of like Argion's stuff and the new Marigold stuff. So she might end up
Which
being
is
very
kind of
ground
Arjan
based.
inspired.
It is just not as hybrid, but
Yeah.
she might end up being very ground based instead
Oh,
of like the kick demon.
before we dive all the way into this, I just want to say this is just a Dylan tangent. Um,
Okay.
it is so frustrating that one of the best shoot style matches in recent memory happened on a random ass Best of the Super Juniors show that nobody's gonna watch because everybody's given up on Best of Super Juniors already. Because Kushida versus Kosei Fujita was like exactly what I want every time Bloodsport fucking happens, but never happens at Bloodsport. But everybody watches Bloodsport, including like you, and you'll be like, "See, this is why it doesn't work. It works, just not there. It worked
Well,
here.
no, okay. I don't think the
Nobody
style
talks
doesn't
about
work.
it."
I think Bloodsport doesn't work because nobody can do it. That's the distinction.
It's because they don't book fucking Kushida. That's the answer.
Yes.
Why don't you book Kushida? Um, Also, as I tweeted, Kushida versus Mirai is the dream match. That's my choice. Even though it will never happen now because New Japan and Marigold, but still, dream match.
Mirai moves around a lot. She might go to New Japan next. You never know.
That'd be awesome. Uh,
Yes.
that'd be so beast. But yeah,
You know.
yeah, Shino. I am fascinated by what she's cooking up. Rossi said in an interview that she will only be wrestling during like her summer break and in shows that are close to Yamagata, I think is where she's from. I don't remember, close to her hometown. So this is a debut, but it also won't be like, like a long term. She won't be on every show from here on. So this is like a teaser of what's to come for her. But yeah, I'm excited. I think I agree. There is like a real case for my Sakurai being a perfect opponent for it because my Sakurai one is smart, knows how to kind of format these shorter matches and will probably get a lot out of Shino, but also will kind of kill her. Like I think it's kind of the perfect recipe for Shino to get a good amount of shine and my Sakurai to make her look good, but then ultimately really just demolish her because that's what you want here. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm hoping for some good kicks. I'm hoping for some qualities passed down from her mother because obviously Michiko Ohmukai, uh, similarly, very smart wrestler, very good wrestler, very aggressive wrestler. So I'm hoping to see similar from Shino. Obviously, she's 16, so I don't necessarily expect her to be as, you know, in your face aggressive. But I think there can be a lot of I think we could see a lot from just this match with my Sakurai because my Sakurai is a great opponent for this situation.
Yeah, me too. Just maybe less hybrid stuff and more kicks because kicks are good.
She could do
Um,
hybrid stuff too.
maybe less of the hybrid stuff though. That's all. Anyway, our next match is Chanyota, Arina Yamanaka, Ryoko Sakamura, and Nagisa Tachibana versus Nagisa Nozaki, Chiaki, Misamatsui, and Megaton. I mean, either Ryoko or Megaton is taking the fall. I just don't know who, because I don't really see anybody getting pushed coming out of this match. So it's just kind of there.
Tachibana's in this match, right?
Yeah.
Oh, then she gets beat because she is on a losing streak. That's her gimmick.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't realize.
Yeah, remember Ryoko's been winning and Tachibana's been losing.
Of course, yeah, this exactly how you'd expect it.
Hmm.
All right. Well, Koki Amare makes her comeback when she teams with Kazuna Tanaka to take on Chikagoto and Minami Yuki. I think this will be a very interesting indicator of where Koki still stands after the injury. I mean, they could easily have Goto beat Kazuna to set up the GHC, but they might just have Koki beat Yuki Minami to be like, hey, we still want to push her. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I can see either. I could also see Chikugoto beating Koki, um, just as a, you know, I've grown while you've been gone type of thing, and then Koki gets the win back. That's the
Yeah.
kind of 50-50 I like, is when it
Kind
when
of.
it when it matters, where it's like, oh, I beat you because I was prepared and you weren't, and then you come back and you can beat me because you are actually better. Um, from a story perspective, I think that would probably be where I would go with it.
Yeah.
But Koki over Yuki Minami is just as valid of a choice. I don't see the need to pin Kazuna right now. Um, not that like I'm saying she can't be pinned, but like I feel like not pinning her here. I think she doesn't need to be pinned here at all. Um,
Okay.
she can challenge for the Superfly, depending on who holds it in a
That's
week.
true. Well, there's a few
She,
people who could do that, but yeah,
she's a good V1, I think.
that's true. Especially with Naho gone.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, Marigold versus Marvelous. We have Riko Kawahata, Maria, Ai Hozan, Senka Akatsuki, and Sora Ayame taking on Natsumi Shizuki, Nao Ishikawa, Hummingbird, Rei Seto, and Komomo Minami. I expect the Marigold team to win just because I imagine the Marvelous team won't be able to get along because of the heels.
Yeah.
And then maybe Shozuki can win it for her team and challenge Magenta.
See,
Or
that's the
like
problem, is that
Rhea.
like, yeah, I mean, I guess you can do a V1, but because nobody on this Marigold team screams tag title challenger to me. You know what I mean? Um,
Well, you have Shozuki with Iono kind of as a team,
yeah, but
or
Aono's not in
Rhea
this.
with a
That's the
few
problem.
people.
Um, I would love to see like Ray and Komomo. I think Komomo potentially could be in the fall. She could beat
Yeah,
Sora, um, or Ihozan if they're feeling spicy. Uh,
yeah.
but yeah,
An
so
ideal world
I
is obviously Ihozan or Senka winning, but I don't think that's going to happen. I
yeah, and
mean,
also you need,
Ihozan could definitely challenge Mayu, but I don't think they will.
and you should also split the wins here,
Yes,
between
that's true.
the two matches, and obviously, Takumi is not losing.
No.
So yeah, I would probably say, oh yeah, Now's here. That's cool.
Yes.
But yeah, I'd probably say Komomo, or Shozuki gets the win for Sora.
Okay. That's I agree.
It would be ideal
Um
if like one of them beat like Maria, um,
Yeah, well,
to
I don't
to
think you need to pin the champions. I
punch
think you
well.
can just beat the team, and Magenta can be asses about it, and then you challenge
Yeah,
them.
true,
It's
true.
pretty easy. Um, we then have again Marigold versus Marvelous, Seri Yamaoka versus Takumi Iroha. This is presumably Iroha getting a big win and kind of being like, "Hey, I said send me your best. What the hell is this?" To set up some more stuff. I think Iroha is a very interesting part of this because I think she can easily challenge the winner of the world title match down the line.
Yeah, I was
I
I
think
was
she could
gonna say
even win it.
I could see. Yeah, the problem is that she now holds both three AW belts.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to just like, oh well, you could just like take the tag belts off her, or you could take the 3AW belt off her. But you can't really take both of them off her, like just
Mhm.
very easily to fit into plans. Um, but yeah, I could definitely see Takumi challenging Utami, uh, coming out of this, because yeah, she's definitely beating Sari and asking, uh, where's all the competition. So
Mm,
yeah, I'm expecting this to be a good match. I do hope that Sari has some smart hope spots and some smart, like, near falls and near falsies, because has been tweeting like I've been studying Takumi and looking at all of her weaknesses. So I'm really hoping she puts that into practice and makes it like I really hope she's not just like fighting for her life and she's trying to fight to win. You know what I mean?
I think it
From a
depends. I think we'd know more if we got to see the show today, because like Takumi recently has felt like she's feeling it, and when
yeah,
she's feeling
true.
it, she will eat you alive. So, um, I think there's a chance she just kind of eats Seri alive and is like, "Hey, I beat Meiko Satomura, so I'm gonna do what I want," you know. But yeah, I'm interested in that one. I am very intrigued to see how much they give Seri,
Bro,
and also just
Takumi
how much of an ass
Takumi
Takumi is.
Takumi cutting a promo going, I beat Meiko Satomura. I beat Seri Yamaoka. I would have beaten Nanae if she didn't dodge me and everybody jumps her.
Then Mio
Everybody just
fends
fucking
them off,
yeah.
and we got Mio Momono joining the feud. That's what we need.
Oh, that'd be beast.
Yeah, that'd be a fun match though. I think Takumi, given her like base, because a lot of people didn't see pre Marvelous Takumi, but she was very similar to Seri. She was very grounded, very grapply, very suplex heavy. I think she more than anyone could meet Seri at her level in some regards. So I am actually very interested to see how that one goes. Because I do think Takumi is probably more of a match than most people for Seri, especially on the mat. So
Yeah,
maybe that'll
yeah,
be one for
definitely.
you. Um, we then go on to the Superfly Championship match. Mayu Iwatani takes on Victoria Yuzuki. I still am baffled by the idea of putting your third string belt on Mayu Iwatani. I just don't get it. But
Grand
you
Slam.
can't have her lose either.
Grand Slam, baby. What do you know
Yeah,
about
but how is she gonna lose it? How is she gonna drop it and then move up?
that?
Like,
Misa cheats. Cheats,
uh,
cheats, cheats a lot.
sure. I guess. I don't know. This might just go to a TLD where they like, oh hey, yeah, you don't get the belt. And I
I mean,
imagine Superfly has a time limit, so
yeah,
yeah.
well, if you remember, after the Nanai match, Yuzuki was like, "Keep your weight down and try to beat me in 15 minutes." That's what she said.
Right. That's what they might
So
do because I don't think you put this belt on Mayu now. And if you're gonna do the Grand Slam thing, you can wait and do a match later down the line. I think for
I don't know.
now
I expect
it would
Mayu to
be
win it.
weird. It's just what
Uh,
big matches can you do for this belt with Mayu? That's the thing. You're gonna need
she
Mayu
gets
to
to.
sell tickets.
I don't know.
Her
I think,
versus Hummingbird is not main eventing or semi main eventing at Corkin.
but I don't think it needs to. I could easily summon win event, like very easily. And also, you have two other belts. Like I think the alternative here is Mayu draws here and then like wins the Dream Star. But even then, it's like I don't know. I think they don't want to exhaust the Mayu option yet in terms of the main event. Like I think them having her kind of like you know hang out in the undercard and beat all of the youngins and work with them, try to get them to have their best matches. Uh, Komomo's and obviously Yuzuki here, but Rhea Seto's Misa Matsui is the big one. Seri Yamaoka, I think that's one that we haven't talked about is that Seri still is due a title shot for this. Like that is a match that they can do. Um, and in fact, I think Seri is a good shout for beating Mayu for the Superfly because that is someone that they really like that could beat
Mm,
Mayu. Um, I
Can
think
I
I think it's
also
just
can I
I
also
think
put it
it's just
out
a
there?
matter of
This is Rossi Ogawa, and he will have a time limit draw on the show.
yeah,
So,
got me there.
What other match for this one? Because it won't be Seri Takumi. Because if it is,
Uh,
I would go crazy.
Koki versus Chigodo tag.
Honestly, he might. He loves fucking his Koki draws.
Uh,
I don't know,
if that was
but
if that
I
was
think
like
it
the
will be
second
this.
if that was the second match, it would definitely be a draw because it would be like a 10-minute time limit. But I
Oh
don't know
yeah,
if the
for
third
sure.
match should have a 10-minute. It shouldn't because it's third.
There's no way
But
to find out.
yeah, no. But yeah, I don't know. I am leaning Mayu, but I would not be even a little surprised if she drew.
Yeah, it's all right. We then have the Marigold World Championship. It is Utami Hayashishita defending against Mirai. I think in a just world, Mirai wins. I think she is much better than Utami
No,
currently in
I
output.
don't I don't think that's a just world because I think, and I am kind of stealing this from this thought process from Scott because he did mention it the other day on Ring Post Radio. I think if Mirai won here, Utami would get the roughest shake like imaginable. Um, she would need another world title run, as much as people would hate to hear that.
But she's gonna
Um,
get one eventually. I don't see
she
like.
should,
Well, no, here's the
but
thing. I know she's not gonna lose. I just think in an ideal world, Mirai is currently on one and is operating
yes,
at such a high level. She should be the one carrying the mantle. But I
but
can definitely see
also
them not doing that.
let's look at the singles matches this year. Like
Yeah.
Mirai has had one, two, one against my Sakurai, one against Bozilla. Neither of those were like insane, but they weren't meant to be insane. Utami has had the two title matches, one of which was supposed to be bad and was fine, and one of which was supposed to be great and was just good. I don't think that like Utami has gotten a fair run with the title.
Well,
Obviously, in part because
no.
Nai's retiring, and the Twin Stars are the bigger deal there.
Yeah.
And Twin Stars have been the bigger deal in the company for the first. If I'm being really honest, they are the most important title. Now that the Twin Stars are fully in the Marvelous feud, in the mid card Marvelous feud, the tags, like I think now, and now that Nanae is retired. I think now is when I'm really gonna start grading Utami as champion. I don't think it would be fair to take the belt off her
I don't
before
know.
she gets to have a reign.
She just hasn't done it for me at all. Like, and I wouldn't have put it on her in the first place. I mean, I when we previewed Ota Ward, I said I would have Sari win, but I know she won't, and she didn't.
To be fair, when
Um,
we were talking about the Dream Star, we were talking about Mirai should win the Dream
yeah.
Star.
So, like,
But
Mirai has consistently had the best arc and stories around this belt, and Utami has just kind of fallen into it twice now, and she continues to just show absolutely nothing. As I said, she's done very little to make this match exciting. It all kind of came from Mirai and her in ring work and her attempts at promos, whereas Utami just kind of did something that was cool, then lost and couldn't do the cool thing anymore, and has kind of just been very all over the map. I do suspect Tommy will retain because she's
yeah,
going to go with the line of I'm not, letting Mayu come and take the reins as ace or whatever, and that's going to be her thing. Um, and I could definitely see a world where they want to run back Utami Takumi, considering that main event of Osaka Joe for a different company. And you maybe just have Takumi win that. And I think that that's easier to do on like a V4 for Utami than a V1 for Mirai.
yeah.
So I do think Utami retaining does give her the chance to have a big match with Mayu or a big match with Iroha. And those are probably the two bigger matches in
I
the
think it
near
allows
future.
Utami to
With
have
Noah.
like an actual reign. You know what I mean? Like it's like they like as
Kind
much
of.
as
They're
much
gonna
as
go
you
into the
can.
Dream Star very soon, so you're gonna get like one defense this summer,
I thought the
maybe.
Dream Star wasn't until like September.
I don't know,
Yeah, I thought we
honestly.
had like a few months still. So like
They might run it earlier though.
I feel like we'll probably get two red belt defenses before the Dream Star.
Maybe.
Maybe she loses it right before the Dream Star, but I think she has at least one more successful defense after this. Um,
Yeah. I
and
don't know.
I
I
think
would put
those
it on
matches.
Mirai, but I know Utami's gonna retain.
I mean, like I
Whatever.
agree. Mirai's like best in the world caliber right now, obviously. Um, but I don't know. I I feel for Utami in the way that it's like half of the blame is on her, 100%, for having this kind of middling run, but also half the blame is just like she's inherited a kind of um, a shitty circumstance as world champion
Mm,
because, like I said, Nanai's a bigger deal. Mayu now coming in, but no, like she can like I think Nanai being the bigger deal has really constrained her, and she's only wrestled against two forms. She hasn't really gotten the chance to have a real like the Bozilla match was a letdown, sure. Like it was very good, but it was still a letdown. But that's her one real strike. I thought the Sari match was great. Uh, should have been better, but great still. Um, so I'm I much like everybody, I'm waiting for that great Utami uh Marigold World Championship match. Like that truly like, that meets my expectations. And I expect it to come here. And I would like to see one or two more from her following
Okay,
that. I think Mirai has so much time and so much possibility. She doesn't need a title right now.
I guess. Um, that is that. Tommy, this is our world champion. Huzzah. And then we get on to the
She's
main
cool,
event.
royal, and beautiful, man. You know about
That's true. Yeah. The main event, the final match in the history of Nanae Takahashi. She takes on Miku Aono. No more deserving woman of the main event. I think Iono is somebody that, as soon as she signed for Marigold, I was like, this is your one. This is the biggest signing you could have made. I think she is similar to what Momo Watanabe offered back in the day. Like she's got that just complete workhorse elements. Can work up, can work down, can promo, everything you kind of want in a top wrestler. And I think she should beat Nanai, and it should be part of Iono becoming one of the core people within Marigold. Obviously, she was the first United National Champion, so they clearly like her. I think she kind of fell off a little bit there for a few months after losing the belt, but I think this is a good way to kind of make sure people know that this is a woman to pay attention to.
it.
And you can probably spin that into a tag title run or something in the near future, if not
I
a Dream
fear,
Star
I
win.
Yeah, I fear it's gonna spin into her just winning the red belt straight up.
I wouldn't mind if
Not
she won the
fear.
Dream Star and like beat Utami and whatever their big show is, their next big show is. I don't really know. Um, I wouldn't hate it.
I
And
think
then
I
you
think my thing is it's a bit quick to have a someone who has won the top two titles um in
kind
the
of,
company like within
yeah.
2 years.
She's
Um
probably the most deserving person, though. She is quite simply exceptional at what she does.
I agree. I agree. Don't get me wrong. I'm not even opposed to the idea. I'm just like I wonder how it would vibe. I also think she's been doing great work not as champion. So I'm
Yeah.
wondering if like
That's why I
if
said
the
Twin
belt
Star. I think she could make her name in the
I think
tag
that's
scene for
ideal.
a little bit.
I think her win the tags uh is ideal. And maybe if they do first stream again, obviously it wouldn't be first stream, but second stream. If they do a New Year's show or a
Yeah.
December show,
And she's
maybe
another one that could work into the Aroha factor because they clearly want that as a match
yeah,
to
I feel
happen.
like
So you could
I
have,
feel like if Takumi wins the red belt, Miku's definitely taking it from her.
yeah, like she kind of fits in to
Unless
all the
unless
pieces Mayu would.
unless like Utami or Mayu takes it. More
Mhm.
likely Utami takes it back from Takumi, like they trade it. Um, I feel like that would set up Miku quite nicely. Uh, but yeah, I mean, before we get to all that, we have get to get through Nanai, and we'll see how this goes. Obviously, I'm hoping for a Miku win, just because
Mhm.
you Mako might not believe this, but you got to go out on your back when you're in the situation. Which, to be fair, Mako did put over Cheer in not her retirement match, so got to
Yeah,
give
Mako
it.
did the jobs. Don't worry, she did her
Yeah.
jobs.
So
She's allowed.
I'm hoping for an Anai loss here, which is rare. But yeah, I mean, I hope Nanai is able to put all of her 29 years of experience in. Um, because yeah, I think you mentioned it on Twitter that it's kind of remarkable the turnaround people have had on her. Smart people have had on her. Um, because she really is just like a true beacon of light in Joshi wrestling right now that will be sorely missed after this match, and I'm hoping that hoping this, if nothing else, this could be a great match that does really, you know, fire Miku into the stratosphere of like
Mhm.
such an important wrestler. And I mean, their match last year was great in the Dream Star. It was
Yeah,
one of
yeah.
my favorite matches from the tournament, and I fucking loved that tournament. If you don't remember, I
Mhm.
thought there were a lot of great matches. I think that was number three on my list of matches from the tournament. So I expect this to be really good. And I hope that Nanai can retire safely and soundly and go out with a bang against, like you said, one of Marigold's best.
Yeah, and I think with Nanae, I know she doesn't put many people over, but I think she knows when the right time is to do that sort of stuff. I mean, she was put over by Kamika Makawa in Makawa's last match and gave her the red belt and that at that time.
Mm.
So it's kind of like, okay, I think Nanae will know to that Marigold would benefit a lot if she put over Iono, especially a month after um Hota basically was like, "You're one of the best of this generation. Like you're
Yeah,
awesome, man." So Hota and Nanai giving her that seal of approval, I think, would just make Iono a certified, like, undisputed top name
yeah.
forever, basically. And I think that alone is worth Nanai putting her over. Even if she doesn't win a belt like right away, I think just the win alone will do enough for her.
Rossi also
Um,
mentioned that Miku is like sneaky popular, and not sneaky, but like she moves insane merch.
yeah.
She, like she's like a real like she is
She's That's
incredibly
what I'm
popular.
saying. She's everything you could want in a top star. Like
Yeah,
I truly believe that if you gave me enough money to start a Joshi company, I'm signing her first. Like that's it. She's my ace. She's got it all. And I mean there's a world where Nanai doesn't lose because it is Nanai
yeah.
ultimately. And I think I would be disappointed if that happened. I think Nanai, we've been very generous with her. She's not done a lot of jobs since announcing her retirement, which is fine. That's her right. But this is the time to do it. And if you don't do it,
She
I think it will harm Marigold to an extent in the short term.
and I feel like it would be kind of weird if she won here because it's not like she hasn't done jobs. She lost
Hmm.
to Bozilla, she lost to Utami, she lost to Mayu,
Yeah.
she lost to Sari.
Yeah.
Like you can lose to me. And they drew
Yeah.
last time, so it's not even like there's like you're below me. Like they are established on a fairly even playing field.
Hmm.
So Miku should win this. Um, but I would be lying if I said I wouldn't be laughing my ass off more so than I'd be like, how dare you? If
Yeah.
Nanai got her with the with the Nanaraka and killed her and won.
Well, we'll have to see. I think it will be an excellent match anyway.
Or the
I
queen
don't
bee
think
bomb. Maybe
maybe.
she just like just hits all of her finishes and wins.
That'd be cool. I won't lie.
That's what I mean.
Um,
Like I don't know. Like
Yeah, I think that'll end
uh,
up being the match of the night, though. I
they'll
think
be hard to
Nanai
beat.
will be going all out in her last ever match. She's going to do something insane. Like she's going to do one of the most cracked things ever, probably. And I think Mayu Yuzuki might be close because Mayu is Mayu, and that might be close. But I do think Iono with Nanai is good enough to kind of be a worthy main event for this kind of show. Um, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I said in an article I did for Voices of Wrestling that like First Dream wasn't the statement Marigold wanted it to be. And since then, people have kind of been very wishy washy on the promotion, and now this is your second chance to kind of go, hey, pay attention to us, you know,
And they have so
because
many
you
backups. Here
they do,
is the
yeah,
thing. Like if Sari for whatever reason can't figure it out with Takumi, they have Mayu and Yuzuki. If
yeah,
Yuzuki's off her game, they have Mirai and Utami. And if that is fucked, if all three of those are fucked, you're fucked. But you
yeah,
still got Nanae and Miku. Like barring extenuating circumstances, this should work. You know what I mean? Like it would be really hard to fuck up this card, knock on wood, of course. But I'm hopeful that this will be kind of a statement maker of the show because I don't know, they have a lot of backup plans, let's be frank.
yeah. This is a much stronger, a much stronger card. I think the first Dream card was relying on Koki and Chica, which is always a risk,
Mm.
and they proved to not have great chemistry anyway. And also you had the debacle of the Twin Stars on that show, which I think dragged everything down. I
Funny
still
funny
am
how they
amazed.
took title matches off. They were like, you know
Yeah,
what? You know what? We are not doing the GHC. We are not doing the Twin Stars. They were bad juju.
yes. 'Cause honestly, I still am baffled by how they thought having heels, squash heels for the tag belts was going to work. But Rossi's old. He's not got the juice as much as he used to. But yeah, this is a very good looking show. I think it'll be very interesting coming out of it. what directions we're looking at, because I do
Yeah.
feel like a Mayu with the Superfly and Iono beating Nanae, Utami if she retains. I think there's a lot of directions you can go there that will be interesting. I feel like the only
with Miku, they won't refer to this. Probably. I would love it if they did, but I do think Miku beating the last red belt, the last first generation red belt champion,
yes, yeah,
and the first second generation red belt champion, in order to propel herself to becoming, you know, the third, becoming one of the first third generation red belt. You get what I mean. I think
yeah.
that would be a really cool story to be like, Nanai got the first one, Nanai got the second one. I think that's a cool story. I don't think they'll dive into that because it's a bit semantics and historical. But usually companies nowadays don't really love doing those sorts of things. But I think that, even if it's just my headcanon, is such a meaningful thing for
Hmm.
Miku to beat such a legendary red belt champion, um, to propel herself towards that belt. Even if she doesn't get in her first chance, she shouldn't. In fact, I would argue she probably shouldn't get it in her first challenge. Um, I
Hmm.
think she should probably win the red belt next year, if we're doing it like that. But I think that would be a really
It will
meaningful thing.
depend on on where it goes, because I've
Yeah.
part of me is kind of just thinking it's forehead and they'll just put it on Mayu because it's Mayu. But like again, they could do Iroha, they could do just keep it on Utami. I think both of those make it more likely that Iono would win early next year. So I think there's definitely roads to Iono being red belt champion in
Yeah.
the near future. But there is also the monster known as Mayu Iwatani, which would just kind of sidetrack everything. But I don't know. Mayu might be busy with other stuff. You never know.
She
Um,
has a bucket list, man.
that's true. Yeah,
She might just beat Koki. She might just be like, "Fuck it,
she
I
might
wanna
actually.
I wanna
That might
wrestle
be
in Noah."
yeah, Monday Magic, and that's something we'll
Monday
have to
Magic is my
discuss as
taste.
well.
Yeah.
Monday Magic. Hopefully, we get
Yes.
some of the marvelous foreign wrestlers engaging with the Marigold talent, because
Yes, that'd be cool.
everybody's on the Sadie Gibbs train now. But I hear good stuff about Amira. I haven't seen her.
Including Yoshimura,
Yes.
my goat.
That is it for us.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
gonna
yeah,
be
one quick thing to just mention very quickly. Rossi talked about units. I thought that was interesting that he said he ain't opposed to doing units, but it cuts up the roster in a way that he doesn't really, that would probably restrict them more than it would help them right now. And I totally agree. I've said it a bunch, and it doesn't really relate to anything we've talked about today, but I would forget it if I left it for last week, so I wanted to say it. Yeah, I think Rossi's hesitance with factions is similar to why I have been hesitant wanting factions in
But
Marigold.
he's done them anyway in other companies. Like I don't see why he would be like,
Yeah, but
no,
I think
Marigold, I
he's
can't do
probably just tired of them. He's probably just like, like it
that.
it it kind of made
He
things
likes
a
the
bit
factions
more
though. He likes the
repetitive.
storytelling opportunities. He likes the produce events that you can do with them. Like he understands that they can make you money. So I
Yeah,
don't
but
know.
I also think he's just like, he probably just sees it as it makes things also a bit more formulaic, and
Maybe.
it's
But
restrictive.
even
And I
then, I
agree.
think the other senior figures also like factions because Fuka likes them and Nanai likes them. So I feel like he will eventually get his arm twisted into booking them.
I mean, I
Maybe
could
not as like strict as they were under
yeah.
Bushiroad. But even
See, my
before that, I think he was fairly strict. It was the
well, I mean,
international
the draft was
draft.
the strictest of factions possible.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know.
but
He's
no,
used them to success.
that's
I
kind
don't
of
know.
how I see it. Is you either got to do it like Noah style, where it's like 60% Hantai and then 40% in like two or three factions of the roster, or do it strict, have a draft. I think if we're gonna do strict factions, you should do the draft again,
Yeah.
um, and do it like that. I would prefer them to this to be a way that they differentiate themselves from Stardom, because I feel like Stardom is already kind of showing a bit of an apathy for their factions, but they know that it works, so they just keep going with them. You know what I mean? Uh, and I feel like either Marigold should be more strict than Stardom is on him, or be less strict than Stardom, or be like
I would prefer
way
more
more.
strict. I think there's a nice settled vibe that factions can bring, and then when you do break the factions, it's kind of like, oh, whoa, that kind of thing. But I
Yeah, I
don't
get
know.
it.
I can see for
There's
and
also the
against.
aspect.
I feel like Rossi as a booker has gotten very juiceless, and factions are very easy juice to extract. In the same way as I think he should get artist belts and a future belt, because like he's not currently good enough as a booker to make up for those deficiencies, and they are just easy things to do that would help Marigold. So
The
I'm
other
just here
problem
to
with
help him
factions.
any way I can.
The other problem with factions is just that everybody loves each other. So they don't want to not
Yeah,
be able
but
to be
like
seen in public with
I
each
don't
other.
know. You don't have to do
like
that. Like that is one of the weirder rules. Like I don't. You don't have to just completely blank each
like
other.
I brought it up. I brought it up about this card, and I know we're already going long considering didn't have much to talk about, but we're going long. Kazuna Tanaka came into the company feuding with Koki, and last week was like, yeah, actually, I came into the company and Koki was the nicest human being I've ever met. She's my favorite person. I have supported her through thick and thin, and we are teaming now. And that has never been established before. Like they have
Yeah.
exclusively like been at odds pretty much the entire time on screen. But they're just like, yeah, we're actually like best friends, so we're just gonna team now. Cool. And you can't do that with factions. So I'm kind of with Rossi on that aspect. But that was just a
All
little
right.
tangent I wanted to go into
That's
because
okay.
I'd forget it
Um,
next week.
next week we will review the Shine Forever, of
Yep.
course. We
Stardom
will
Quirk.
also review the Stardom Nighter, but I think we'll have to preview the Ota Ward show for Natsupoi and Ano as well, because that's on the
Yes.
30th. So pretty
Big show
busy
next
week
week.
for us again next week after finally being like, okay, our schedule is clear. We're gonna be
Oh
back to
no. Oh no, they found the Rossi quote. I'm off
yeah,
Twitter
no, it
for the
was
day.
bound to
I'm off
happen.
Twitter
It
for
was
the
bound
day.
to happen.
I'm off
He
Twitter for
just
the day.
shouldn't say it.
He shouldn't
You
have
just
said it.
shouldn't say these
No,
things, Rossi.
like
You can simply not stick your foot in your mouth one time. Please. You make it very
yeah,
hard to enjoy your promotions.
like it's really funny because like Utami is like one of Rossi's favorite children. Um, so it's like that, like, realistically, I recognize that he wouldn't have said it if he hadn't already said it to her, and if it
Mhm.
wasn't already like, like a whatever, like it didn't wasn't that big of a deal. Because he doesn't go to the newspaper to start shit with his most loyal his, his most loyal wrestler, without her knowing, type of thing. But white knights, and valid white knights in this very specific instance, don't call your wrestlers fat. Hot take. Um, but yeah, people are gonna get very upset because obviously. So yeah, I'm staying off Twitter for the day.
That is fair. He maybe just shouldn't comment on wrestlers' bodies anymore.
Yeah,
That'd be
it'd be for
pretty
the
smart.
best.
But
Be for the
anyway,
best.
we yeah, it is time to close the show.
Old people, man.
uh,
Old people.
dude, tell me about it. So if you want to stand, you may stand. If you want to sit, you may sit. Believe today, shine tomorrow. You decide what you believe in.
Shine forever, Marty Gold Passion.
Yo.